we've mentioned all around the idea of missionaries being narcissists. Let's bring it back into how do you know if a missionary is a narcissist? Understand that a covert narcissist is hard to detect to begin with. He just is. Number one, they are love bombers. Proverbs 29 verse 5 calls love bombing flattery. They always research those with whom they are entering a relationship so as to impress them with what is highly prioritized or valued by those who they flatter. Could be online research or even hints picked up that help him to categorize people or ministries, since he has built a repertoire of knowledge about classifications of people. That is how pastors, churches, and individuals in a church can be pulled in by the love bombing of a covert narcissist. He only needs to make the sale while he's there, because 99% of all the information and reports about him which come from the field are funneled through his own lens, his own reality, and his letters. So, if you come away from a missionary presentation in a meeting, weekend, conference, thinking this missionary is too good to be true, or he is and believes just like us, this could be a clear sign of love bombing. So number two, they're sensationalists. In media, yellow journalism is the use of lurid features and sensationalized reports to attract readers and increase circulation profits. Truth is not necessary as much as being able to sell something as legitimately being true when it's not, but for the purpose of selling. So it is typically based on information which cannot be authenticated, often appeals to anonymous sources. In missions, yellow journalism tactics are employed by narcissist missionaries to also give sensational reports. Furthermore, again, he is the sole controller or funneler of these reports through his own lens and letters. Most letters, videos, reports which come through to you are filled with how great the missionary is doing, coupled with sensational events repeatedly. 500 people accept Christ after hearing the gospel for the first time. Planted 10 churches on their first term in an otherwise unproductive area for other missionaries. This could be a clear-cut sign of sensationalism. By sensational, I mean overtly exaggerated and untrue. Not that 500 people did not raise their hands for salvation. Not that 10 churches weren't built and people attend weekly, but that they were done superficially for show. Okay? Number three, they're controlling. Narcissist missionaries are controlling. Usually this leads to 2 or 3 telltale signs. Number one, the wife and children, especially the children, are very introverted and quiet. Number two, cannot stay in one place, work, ministry, for more than about 2 years without causing a major problem. Heavy complaints, contradiction of stories, never admitting guilt or taking legitimate responsibility, longtime members leaving, church split, and other things. Number three, their ministry is usually always propped up by money and favors. They also will not agree to disagree with you, but will seek to destroy, discredit, and demean you and your ideas, your ministry, in a way which drives you away while covering or erasing evidence that leads back to them. Now, I say you as a pastor, but this could be very much applied, and usually is applied, to other missionaries on the field, where you have a missionary, another missionary who is a narcissist Many times he will, and you will hear stories and that are credible stories of how a missionary is forced to leave, forced to abandon because he's been destroyed, discredited, demeaned by a narcissist missionary, which everyone thinks is the most wonderful person in the United States, thinks he's the most wonderful person. Things can't be true that's being said about him. Well, understand, narcissist missionary is one who's controlling, all right? If there are 3 or more reports individually, not by common sourcing, one person has heard the one source, 3 different people telling the story, it's not what I mean. If there are 3 individual reports that indicate manipulative behavior with conflicting stories centered around the missionary, this could be a sign of control-based narcissism, okay? Number 4. Oh, they are pragmatists. Huge, huge right here. They are pragmatists. Pragmatism is an approach that assesses the truth in terms of the desired results of their practical application. Even though a narcissist has learned how to talk a spiritual game, he is not spiritual, nor is he led by the Spirit of God. 2 Timothy 3:5 says, narcissists, they are lovers of their own selves. They only have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Godliness is a more apt to understand the meaning when you understand the idea of piety. A life that is perceived, that has pious behavior. There is not godlikeness. There is a pious behavior. That's the form. The essence, it's not filled with dead men's bones in a decorated sarcophagus, if you will. From such turn away. Therefore, they have to rely on alternative sources of power in order to achieve the results with which to validate themselves. This leads them unequivocally to pragmatism. That is, doing ministry in a way which brings the outwardly measurable ministerial results that seem to validate his methods, namely power sources of money, gifts, jobs, services, behaviors or favors, etc. What this may look like on the mission field is this way. Raise lots of money to buy properties, build buildings, furnish the ministries, and or hire nationals to, quote, do the work of the ministry, end quote. This welfare approach to missions is fertile ground to produce false converts and start fake ministries which see actual spiritual fruit only by God's mercy. Right? Tell me what you think in the comments. Write me, call me, talk to me more. I'd love to talk to you more about this undermining of spiritual missions. Okay, number 5, they display many or all of the observable 9 traits of a narcissist outwardly and indiscernibly that we discussed in another video. All right, so when the CIA interviews a suspected liar, he isn't looking for all the 20 most common signs of a liar, but he isn't looking for 1 or 2 either. He's looking for a consistent pattern of 3 to 5 common signs: itchy extremities, feet, body facing the person, facing away from the person, nervous, shaking leg, eye contact. He's asked the question, does he look right or does he look left? Sorry, someone who's typically looking right is trying to remember. Someone who's typically looking left is someone who is trying to reason or to make up something. Could be either one. Listen, if the best judgment is made by a multitude of counselors from an objective vantage point, good probability conclusions can be made. And if you end up being wrong, it will go against the majority opinions and the majority of evidence, which were discernible by many counselors.